El Niño's forecast is to drive record heat from the Amazon to Alaska in 2024. I'm going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that El Niño's forecast is to drive record heat from the Amazon to Alaska in 2024. Coastal areas face enormous and urgent climate crisis as events supercharged cause global heating, scientists say. Guys, just before I go in natural thoughts, if you can hit the like button and share across social media so others are notified of this video. So just for a bit of context here, I'm just going to show you this here. Just for those who don't know what the El Niño weather means, it is a climate pattern that describes the unusual warming of surface waters in the eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. El Niño is the warm phase of a larger phenomenon called the El Niño Southern Opposition, which there. So hopefully that gives a bit of context for those who don't know what El Niño is there. And this is quite concerning, to say the least, that we have scientists obviously continuing to warn us about the impact and the damage that climate change is causing to our planet. And of course, we always have people who continue to believe that there's absolutely nothing wrong and that everything is perfectly fine, even though temperatures are rising. We're breaking there are record temperatures breaking across the globe. We're having more phenomenons, more typhoons, more hurricanes than we normally have. Yeah, and we're supposed to just believe that it's perfectly normal, that it's perfectly all right, that everything is fine. Well, I'm struggling to see that, if I'm honest. And I think any kind of stuff like this, we do need to take it seriously, and we do need to continue to try and do everything that we can to drive down the global temperatures that are rising on this planet. And obviously this requires international commitments that we need to keep to, not just the UK but the rest of the world. I know we have an issue there where we have parts of the world that are continuing to cause damage, that causing the climate to increase heat, but it's about the UK and all nations as a whole working together to try and drive it down. But this forecast should be a cause for concern, to say the least. So the current climate known as El Niño is likely to supercharge global heating and deliver record-breaking temperatures from the Amazon to Alaska in 2024, analysis has found. Coastal areas of India in the Bay of Bengal and by the South China Sea, as well as the Philippines and the Caribbean, are also likely to experience unprecedented heat in the period to June, the scientists say, after which El Niño may weaken. The natural phenomenon in which heat is released from the western Pacific Ocean is known to increase global surface temperatures and help 2023 smash the record for the hottest year by a large margin. Extreme heat in the second half of 2023, as El Niño kicked in, had several impacts on people living in North America, Europe, China, South America and Madagascar as the climate crisis intensifies. The new analysis uses computer models to identify the likely regional hotspots in the first half of 2024. It was also found that there was a 90% chance that the global temperature over this period would set a new world record. Intensive heat waves and tropical cyclones combined with human-caused global sea level rises mean densely populated coastal areas are facing an enormous and urgent climate crisis that challenges our current capacity for adaptation, mitigation and risk management, said Dr. Ning Zhang at the Chinese Academic of Meteorology Science in Beijing and his co-authors. The impending warmth heightens the risk of a year-round marine heat waves and escalates the threats of wildfire and other negative consequences in Alaska and the Amazon bastion, he said. Seas and coastal areas in particular are vulnerable because the ocean can hold more heat than land, meaning hot conditions can persist there for longer periods of time. The Earth's climate cycles naturally between El Niño and its cooler counterpart La Niña. This boosts and moderates the strong underlying trend of global heating, which is caused by the rising levels of carbon dioxide from fossil fuels in the atmosphere. El Niño usually peaks between November and January, and so the new study published in the journal Scientific Report modeled the effects of the event of the regional variation in surface to air temperatures from July 2023 to June 2024. The scientists also found record-breaking temperatures in the Amazon are likely in 2024, the increase in the risk of wildfires, several fires and drought hits in Amazon in late 2023, and the emissions from fires in February have set a new record for that month. Record heat in Alaska will result in glaciers and permafrost melting and coastal erosion, the scientists say. Already there have been some examples. I think there have been some wildfires already taking place in Colombia just a month or two ago, and they're basking in really, really hot weather, much more than usual down in Australia as well. Professor Amsefri at the Met Office of University of Exeter in the UK has said these studies use observed temperature records and what we know about El Niño and other effects on the rest of the globe to infer what might happen in 2024. It's far from a state-of-art forecast, but it does offer a useful, simple first take on the year ahead. Some regions, Africa and Greenland for example, have poor historical data coverage, and these are hard to assess with these methods, but they are highlighted as regions with prominent levels of excess heat in this year in the climate model forecast. Now obviously let's be clear that while these are forecasts and they are not 100% accurate, but this is the best way that we can predict the futures, and they are not always accurate, but they are more likely to be accurate than less accurate, shall we say. Now every time that there is a wildfire, every time that there is devastation, it just highlights more and more the issues that are taking place in the planet, and I really do think we should take these issues seriously. Now we can continue to deny it and continue to turn up, stick our heads in the sand and pretend that nothing's happening, yada yada yada, or we can actually see what's actually happening and see that temperatures are rising, and that and again, if we're going to be having these heat waves, I mean, how much more do we need to see? How much more do we need to feel before we start waking up and realizing that there's actually something is wrong and we should do something about it? And the thing is that it's not something that we can switch a light bulb change overnight. No, nobody's saying that we can change things overnight. But there needs to be an acknowledgement, and there needs to be more needs to be done. Too many private companies and rich billionaires and those who have shares in investments and influence from oil and gas companies are strategically denying and damaging the progress that we have in order for us to tackle this on a global scale. They're having their hands in too many influences here in the UK, the US, and in other nations as well. Obviously, we are aware that Russia and China are also causing it, but China has, in its stead, reduced some of its emissions. It's still causing them. It still has one of the biggest. Still causes one of the emissions. America still has the biggest problem in terms of emissions, I think, more than anybody. But extreme heat is going to come again this summer. Whether we'll break the records that we had 2 years ago in the UK remains to be seen, but I would not be surprised if we do too. So guys, what do you make of El Nino, the forecast here by scientists? Should we be concerned? How concerned are you? And what should be done? Do we need more international cooperation to make sure that the countries that are more vulnerable to these climate changes? And let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section down below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button, we greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or joining me on Patreon or Rumble for exclusive content there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.